All right, Baltimore City Council Ways and Means Committee, Council Ordinance 24-0521, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2025. Eric Costello, Councilman from the 11th District, Chair of the committee. Joined to my right by Councilman Mark Conway, 4th District, Councilman Isaac Yitzi Schleifer, 5th District, member of the committee, Councilwoman Odette Ramos, 14th District, and Councilman Ryan Dorsey, 3rd District, member of the committee. To my immediate right, Tony Leva, staff to the committee, also joined by representatives from the mayor's office and the council president's office. We are here for Baltimore Convention Center, BCC. Mr. Campbell, introduce your team and take it away.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and esteemed council members. Thank you for having us. Matt Campbell, Executive Director, Baltimore Convention Center. To my left is our Director of Financial Operations, Jakesh Chugani, and we're here to talk all things Convention Center for FY25. Our mission is to drive economic impact for the city and state, largely through sales and hotel taxes, but also by ensuring hospitality jobs are created and sustained through the spending of our patrons and their families. In FY23, the Convention Center book of business resulted in over $17 million in city and state revenue, generated direct opportunities for over 1,600 jobs, 1,200 of them are in the city, and direct spending of over $134 million statewide. The Convention Center is a direct operating expense for the city's budget, but as you know, our deficit, which fluctuates annually, is offset 2/3 by the state. This leaves only a fraction of our costs obligated to the city's general fund. In FY23, the city's share was $4.9 million. Anticipated FY24 deficit, we're expecting it to remain fairly steady. And in FY25, we are budgeting for a total deficit of $17.2 million, impacting the city's budget by 5.7. Can I give this to you? You got it? Thank you. This time last year, I described to you 3 major reasons why our deficit has grown over the years. And now with a year under my belt as executive director, I wanted to give you an update on those areas, as well as some initiatives that I put in place to move the organization forward. First off, expensive one-time purchases. The last few budget cycles included several large purchases that were needed to support the events we host, things like new tables and chairs, carpet, industry-leading staging equipment, ADA-compliant wheelchair lifts, all the things that kind of make us work. They've all been fully expensed. We've also made improvements to our camera system, utility monitoring equipment to ensure we're managing the city's asset responsibly. No similar large purchases are planned in FY25. Number 2, the bookings of business. Booking and their relation to COVID recovery continues to leave a negative mark on our economic impact numbers. Many destinations have paid or heavily incentivized groups to choose their location using ARPA or similar funding. As an example, just 10 days ago, Events DC just launched a $3.5 million large event grant program. Baltimore's bids can't compete with that oftentimes. We look forward to the booking windows outside of calendar year FY26 or calendar 26, where this won't be a tool that can be utilized, kind of leveling the playing field again. We are currently bidding on business, and some people don't realize this, all the way out to FY33. So we are seeing a better pace on those leads and those conversations than we are for FY22 through FY26. 3, we are the oldest venue in our competitive set and woefully underfunded for a facility our size, and I know that comes as no surprise to this council or to our clients. We have a bit of a reputation at this point. We are regularly losing business entirely for these reasons. If we are able to win, it often comes at the expense of having to incentivize deeply to make our value proposition competitive. As an example, if you combine FY24 and FY25, we've provided 4 free building rentals with a estimated rental value of about $1.75 million. That $1.75 million materializes over $55 million in economic impact. Our budget doesn't reflect that story. So there are a slew of other examples, not as clear, but there's many events that we discount, and if we don't, they don't shortlist Baltimore, and that's just the reality of it. Beyond the revenue impacts of an older building, we are also seeing regular reactive maintenance items that we're not used to, the things that just come with a 40, almost 50-year-old building. That then means we have unbudgeted emergency on-call vendor services, things like escalator failures, pipe bursts, roof leaks, et cetera. All of these things are only going to continue to increase without significant capital infusing into our building. Additionally, during the past fiscal year, we've been very conscious of costs while still moving forward with allocating resources that will ensure business continuity in the face of many of our challenges. We've updated our event management system and sales management platform for the first time since 1996. This will enable us to properly develop and close on leads, significantly decrease staff administrative time, and to maximize building activity. Secondly, retirements leave knowledge gaps, and we've had several of them in the last year and a half, but they also provide opportunity. As an example, for almost 20 years, our public safety division and engineering departments were managed by the same leader. With their departure, we've increased our salary line item to split those roles and are already seeing the significant positive operational impacts of subject matter experts being able to focus solely on their subject matter expertise instead of trying to split their brain in half. The same is happening with the current recruitment that separates marketing from public relations and community engagement so we can be more intentional with community interaction. Thirdly, with the aging building and its associated building failures, we've had to reorganize our engineering department to ensure that we have the hands available to support the increased workload. What I'm really proud to say is my team was thoughtful in this approach, creating a series of lower grade positions that can handle the volume of routine work orders, and by doing so has created a pathway for our staff to move from the lower paying event support roles to facility engineering, increasing their salaries and keeping their institutional knowledge at the BCC. I also love bragging about this, but this new team single-handedly reacted to a pipe burst that would have been $160,000 worth of on-call reactive maintenance costs, not to mention closing one of our exhibit halls and displacing business for over 2 weeks. They got their heads together, figured out a way to do it, and cost the city $10,000. Those are the kinds of things that having a dedicated in-house team can really help us in supporting. So I know that was a lot of scary woe is me things, but all is not lost. And here are some things that I think we have to look forward to in FY25 and beyond. Surplus funding from FY22 is being felt as we speak, with 7 new elevators coming online, 2 of which are completed. Another will be done this summer, and the entire list of 7 elevators will be completed by February of 2025. So that's one of our biggest reputational marks across the event community, and we'll be able to say that that is off the table as a concern. There was a $25.7 million supplemental for the state's FY23 budget, and that's about to be felt with the official commencement of work this summer. While I don't have the official finalized project list yet, it should be available and widely circulated in the next month or so. You can count on critical systems being replaced or overhauled, as well as front-of-house enhancements to welcome clients in new and exciting ways. While this by no means is a fix-everything pot of money, it will buy us time by addressing the issues with the most impact on business continuity. Additionally, our service partners, things like food and beverage, telecommunications, temporary utilities, they're in the final stretch of new RFPs for all of them. Their commission rates to us will be the best in the market and include many one-time capital investments that will add to the millions of dollars of support already dedicated to the building. In fiscal 25, it's also my hope that we'll bring on a new revenue center to our ledger with digital signage partners that will manage assets both in and outside of our building. Certainly also, I candidly refer to us as a Windows 98 building, and we want to at least be able to get up to Windows XP. Having things like digital signage really puts us back into the conversation of a lot of our competitors. And last but not least, the item that I'm most excited about is the result of our legislative lift in Annapolis this past year. Senate Bill 896, or for those of you tracking it at home, the Baltimore Convention and Tourism Redevelopment and Operating Organization Task Force. The ask of this bill was to create a task force that would make recommendations surrounding the best approach for operating and funding the convention center, including its much-needed renovation. This group will look at our competition all across the country, see what works and what doesn't, and by this December, make recommendations to Annapolis and City Hall that make sense for Baltimore and the state of Maryland. It is our hope that the work of this group becomes an important part of the legislative agenda next year, and we can set a concrete course to increase economic impact and yearly agency fiscal performance moving forward. With that, I just thank you for allowing me to update all of you and welcome any questions you may have.
Mac, I want to personally thank you. You have done an absolutely fantastic job since taking over the helm at the convention center. You have been wildly responsive anytime there's been an issue. The convention center is in the district I represent, so we have an opportunity to interact often. Just last weekend, we had an issue with something that was set up and was going to have a negative impact on the operations of a church. I reached out to you within, I think, an hour. It was resolved with the Reverend from the church, who used to be at a church in the 14th district. But that is the type of exemplary customer service that I have found to get from you, and not just you, but your entire team at the convention center. You are doing an absolutely outstanding job as far as I'm concerned. I wanted to pass that along and make sure that all your folks know that their hard work is appreciated. Schleifer? Conway? Ramos?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one piece. Curious, I know you've been dealing with a lot of the, physical issues and trying to, upgrade things, and obviously you've gotten some good support from the state, so that's wonderful. I was curious, and it's entirely possible I missed it, so I do apologize if I missed it. We had talked last year about the possibility of really featuring all of our neighborhoods within the convention center.
Yep.
Through photos and murals and things like that. And I believe I saw an announcement of a mural recently that was installed, and I'm curious to hear more. And you did your staff went through a process with all of us as to, what needs to be featured and that kind of thing. So if you can just let me know the status of that, or what room I need to go to in the convention center to see what's going on, that would be super helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And your conversation with me when I was in the process of being confirmed in this position made sure that I was looking at both sides of the coin of being a resource for people to come to, as much as a gateway to send people out to experience Baltimore more fully. The project that you're describing is nearing completion. Unfortunately, we don't have enough photography of the quality that we need for the scale. I got an update last week. We're supposed to reconvene, hire a photographer, and close the gap on those things. So you'll see that soon. I promise you. It was in process throughout the year. While we've been doing that, we're also trying to, I know you just met with Main Streets. We're engaging with Director Nader and obviously with Director Lundy of how we can find ways to have them be able to show off what each of those main streets have. When we've been hosting a series of pregame Orioles, things we call the Nest. We've invited main streets to come and have a table and talk about all the things that are going on there. So in addition to that, you mentioned the mural we just had. I mean, to be quite frank, I can't take a whole lot of credit for it other than taking opportunity when presented with being able to present Baltimore-based art on our building. But we're not done. We're having a mural festival later this fall that will be able to bring minority artists to front and center around our campus. And also work on a public art program that I think will be quite comprehensive. We visited Columbus, Ohio last year and saw that the Franklin County Convention Facilities Authority has the largest collection of public art in the state of Ohio. And most of it was on display in the convention center or around its property. So we're working in lockstep with Tanya Miller Hall and her advisory council to figure out how we can really make sure that we highlight those members. But to your point about the project, because of the delay, we're still even thinking about, well, can we throw some other opportunities of maybe augmented reality so that, a shop owner from someone in Waverly can pop out and talk to you about we're thinking regularly about how we can be a miniature visitor center for folks that may not have an opportunity to leave our building. We're also working with Visit Baltimore. I heard Al Hutchinson speak about his mobile visitor center they debuted at Preakness, which was awesome. We're working with their team to have a miniature version of that, be able to move around our building versus having a stationary anchored piece that may not be in the right place for each convention, so that we're able to really surgically tell a Baltimore story in the middle of wherever the event may show up in our house. So it's not, that one particular project is frustratingly not done, but it's because we wanted to make sure we told truly authentic stories through photos through all the council offices to make sure that we didn't miss something.
No, I appreciate that. I do like this idea of a mini mobile center where people can kind of see what's going on. I do hope people leave the center to come to other neighborhoods. That's kind of the goal.
Yep.
But I'm glad that they're getting a taste of it, and hopefully they decide that they're going to come have dinner, on
Or more
in one of my
importantly,
neighborhoods.
and come back.
And then come
bring their
back.
family,
Yeah, yeah.
move here.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It all starts with the taste.
Right, exactly. So I appreciate your work on it and thinking broadly on it and taking my thoughts into consideration.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Well, thank you for your presentation. We are now in recess.
Thank you.
Until 6 o'clock.